It's Links Pod, and, well, introduce yourself.
Paul Gibbard, yeah, I'm a musician, singer-songwriter locally.
Yeah, this has come about because I was on a night out in the Wigan Mitre in Lincoln. Paul was singing, and after he finished singing, we had a chat, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
And I thought that might be a good episode of the Links Pod to get somebody on who's a local musician, and you seem to have a story to tell, and today we're going to tell that story, Paul.
Brilliant, yeah.
All right.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well,
yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. So we'll start with at the beginning, your youth and how you got an interest in music, Paul.
Okay, well, I was born in 1960, so that was a perfect time for the Beatles and George Best and all that sort of thing, the swinging 60s. So I was really influenced by all that as a kid. Loved music, always loved music, Top of the Pops and all the latest things. And so then moved on, and as I was 16 in 1976, we had all the punk thing happening then, and new wave, and so I really got into that, and that was very liberating because it actually made you believe anybody could play.
Yeah.
Prior to that, it really felt like these big supergroups, and you know, you had to be a genius to play the guitar, whereas punk was very liberating and it made you want to play. So I got a bass and started in a band.
So your age would have been just perfect for this punk rock thing.
Absolutely,
happening.
Yeah,
you would have hit it just at the right time.
Yeah.
So can you remember the first time you picked up a guitar? Where did that guitar come from? Did you have the money to go out and buy one, or did you pick someone else's up? Wow.
It was yeah, I do remember. There was a guy that used to lodge with us who was a student, a keyboard, and he used to play guitar, so he was really influential. So I was about 13, 14.
Oh, so he said, have a go on this.
Show me a few chords.
Yeah.
But actually to experience it and watch somebody playing live was brilliant. Yeah.
Okay. Well, and where would that be? At the house?
At the house, yeah. He lived with us. He was a friend of my uncle's. He was a national table tennis player, actually.
Was he?
A guy called Mike Simmons. Yeah, interesting character. Yeah.
So, from picking up a guitar, I'm not a guitarist. We did a radio thing once where I had to learn a bit of guitar, and they offered me at the end of this experience. We played it live at the Lincolnshire show, right?
Brilliant.
And they said, "Do you want to keep the guitar?" For a small fee, I could keep the guitar, and I said no. And I wish now I said yes, because maybe I'd have got somewhere. Can anybody pick it up, or does it take something inside you to be any good at it?
I think anybody can play. I really believe that, but the problem is initially it's quite, as you probably experienced, it's not easy at all to make your fingers
hurts
go.
Your fingers as well, more than
yeah. Well, you can see the calluses on the end of my fingers.
Yes.
So you just got to persevere. I think you just got to really want to do it.
Yeah.
That was yeah. So but there are people. I've had friends who are actually, they don't just hear notes, they see colours. I've got a friend who's he has perfect pitch.
Really?
Yeah, that I can't do. So if he hears a chord, he can hear the notes that make up that chord, but he can also see that.
Wow.
As well. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, so you're 16, you're starting to play guitar in the house, and what is that, a bass guitar at that time?
Well, I went into bass because bass, that's the one in a band people say play bass, because you know I was the worst guitarist, so,
right.
So I played bass.
So you're playing the bass, but tell me about getting from that beginning, learning a few chords. Next thing, you're playing what, in a band? You form a band with mates?
Well, as I say, I became a bass player in this band with a few older guys who were better players than me, more experienced. So they had me in as the enthusiastic, and they'd show me. On a bass, you can just play the root note and sort of keep,
okay.
But we weren't very good. But there was lots of opportunities then, because bands and everything was really, there were loads of gigs everywhere. So but to give you an example, I don't know if you remember a song, you're a DJ, there was a song called Nice Legs, Shame About Your Face.
I do, yeah.
Do you remember that?
I do.
Well, we used to do that song, it was that time, yeah?
Yeah.
And the headlines, we played a big gig, we winged our way to this big gig in town, and the headlines the next day were Nice Lads, Shame About the Band.
No.
It's true. So
That's
I
amazing.
often tell that tale, because the thing is, you imagine, I was 17.
Yeah.
And in the pub the next night, and everybody knew, and we were that bad, we got the headline. There was about 8 bands on.
Brilliant.
But the thing is, to keep going, you've got to have a lot of belief and a lot of, when
Yeah.
people say to me, "Oh, that was brilliant, that was great," well, not always. You've got to really want to do it.
Yeah,
and believe in yourself.
There's going to be a lot of
do it.
knockbacks at the beginning, in
true
a lot
story,
of walks of life. In the radio game, when I start doing that, there's been knockbacks galore on the path to.
Got to have broad shoulders, haven't you, to stand up there and do any of these
this
things. haven't you?
podcast,
Yes, exactly.
plenty of hard times trying to get this off the ground and so on. But musician-wise, at least the gig don't go well. You can go back to your house, get better.
Yeah.
Keep practicing.
Well, that was so that band was, and to be fair, so what I really wanted to do was play guitar and sing. I wanted to be that, that band, play harmonica as well. So I then went back, and I was determined. Then went to my bedroom really and learnt my craft.
Right.
If you like.
Yeah. Okay.
So then didn't do a lot band wise for a couple of years then, but it was all inspired by watching all these bands. There was a venue on a Monday night in Doncaster called the Outlook.
Right.
It was a normal disco on the weekend, and then Monday nights they had bands from London. And I mean, I saw, you go down on a Monday night, and one night it was the Jam. We'd never heard of them. They'd just done In the City,
right?
And it just so you went and bought the album the next day. So,
and tell me, when you saw the Jam play, then did you think, and Paul Weller doing his thing, did you think these are a cut above what I've seen?
Yeah.
Could you tell?
Yeah. And the thing was, it tied in for me going back to that, because I think. I get a lot of times people say, you're very like Paul Weller, and that's true. But I think the big thing is it's the influences really.
Sure.
He was a mod. Even then, you could see there were mods, and so that looked different. The Rickenbackers, the imagery was very like the Who and the Small Faces, which is what I love as well.
Sure. And all right, so I'm trying to not jump straight to where we are today, and what you've got to and what you've achieved, Paul. So you've gone back into your bedroom, you're learning. And did you think at the time prior to this you could sing? Because you obviously can.
Yeah,
Were you singing
that
at
sort
school?
of came.
Yeah.
No, I sang in choirs and things.
Did you?
But it was never, at just school choirs, or I'm a show off, I think.
Right.
I think I was in the school play. I was desperate to be looked at.
Yeah.
You've got to be the band, the first band I was in, there was a guy in that, I met him recently, I hadn't seen him for years and years, Tom, and he was a fantastic guitar player, but he would get so nervous, and at the gig he was
Oh, really?
yeah, and he'd like be hiding, and he couldn't sleep for a week before we'd got a gig because
Really?
of nerves.
Nerves?
Nerves. You've got to be comfortable standing up there and doing it. That's
Sure.
a big part of, I think, being in a band.
Well, I've seen you obviously recently, and you are very confident nowadays. What about at the beginning? Were you always?
I think so.
Oh, were you?
I think, yeah. But that came a lot from the punk attitude. That was another thing about it.
Right, okay.
Was really, it was, we used to, it was interesting. You get around Doncaster, there'd often be big fights, and, you get in all sorts of problems,
Yeah.
And there was a lot of, you'd got that generation at that time that liked just a bit before that, the long hair, sort of paranoid,
Yeah.
and they hated punks
Right.
and new stuff. So you'd got a lot of. I remember a great gig. I saw a band called. Sorry, I remember the name of them. Anyway, it'll come back to me in a minute.
Yeah.
But the back of my hand, the Jags. Do you
Oh, right,
remember
okay.
that? Do you remember that single?
Don't know. No, don't.
Okay.
I'm not going to pretend I do. Back
Right.
of my hand.
By the Jags, great band.
Right.
But they were from London, and they came up, and they had a local band on called Tarot, who did AC/DC. They did all the long-haired Deep Purple.
Yeah.
They had the long-haired imagery, and the big widdly-diddly guitar solos,
Right.
etc. Yeah. And they were on, and they went down an absolute storm, and they were the support. They had a lot of local
Right, okay.
fans, if you like,
Yeah.
But it was this change in era, if you like, the change of times. And when the Jags came on, they were just black and white T-shirts, black and white Telecasters.
Oh, were they?
3-minute sort of punky pop
Right,
songs,
yeah.
all original stuff.
Yeah.
They did the first song, nothing.
Oh, really?
Right, so this band had, the one
Yeah, the
supported-
support had gone well.
They came on, nothing, And it just went, AC/DC,
Really?
Next one, to
Get
by
it
the end
back.
of the night.
Wow.
By the end of the night, nobody remembered who Taro were.
Really? They'd rocked it, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Christ, that's a good story.
And they were great.
I tell you what's striking me. I don't think I've heard people say before that Doncaster had a bit of a music scene, but clearly there was.
In those days, there was the Porterhouse at Retford,
Right.
I don't know if you,
Yeah.
and then the Outlook at Doncaster.
Okay.
And that was on the scene. I mean, I saw the Sex Pistols there. They did that, Sex Pistols on tour. And what's a nice little story with Lincoln was there used to be, if anybody knows him, there used to be a guy around. He lived in the Vale, and he was a roadie, and he roadied for everybody called Jed.
Right.
Old man. He came back to retire to Lincoln from Lincoln, and he was with the Casuals. Do you know the Casuals?
Yeah, Jessamine.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Well, he started as the roadie for the Casuals.
Really?
After he came out of the army in the 50s or whatever it was, early
Okay.
into the 60s. And he lived in the Vale opposite the Duke William. And he came down and used to watch me. And it took him back, and he said, because that's what he did. So he used to come to gigs with me. He was lovely. He got to be me mate. Yeah. And but he, I'm forgetting where I'm going with this now. But what were we talking about before that? I can't remember.
About the Doncaster music scene.
Oh, the music.
Yeah.
Sorry, the music. And he was, when he came back from America. So he was in America with Fleetwood Mac. He was.
Wow.
Yeah. Mick Fleetwood's drum roadie. Lived in California. All this, yeah. Christ. And he'd done also. He was a roadie for Paul McCartney. He used to get a Christmas card from Paul McCartney. This guy.
Did he?
Jed, yeah. He used to drink in the William and the Ivy, yeah.
Wow.
And he lost his. They sent him back. He basically went to Canada, and they won't let him back in because he didn't have a visa to be in America. This was the 70s. So he came back, and his job, he roaded for the Sex Pistols. So he was driving them round when they were playing the Porterhouse, and I used to call him Whiskers.
I guess he's no longer with us, is he? This chap? Because what a great guy he would have been to get on the podcast.
But he was brilliant because he used to say, "How do you know?" And I knew what he was telling me was true because I used to describe gear to him, and he couldn't believe. Stuff. Yeah, and then. I mean, like they had 8 Leslie cabinets for Deep Purple for the keyboard player. They had linked 8 Leslie cabinets. Now, he used to hate it. 8 Leslie cabinets to whump about. He used to sound like thunder.
Wow. He's the real deal.
Yeah.
So, right, we're back in Doncaster. This club exists.
Yeah.
Do you get to play there, Paul?
Yes, I did eventually play, just on one of these. It was like when they had local bands night, if you like. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's got to be, your dream is to get there. And
it is, yeah. But as I say, we were at that stage, it still wasn't great.
Okay.
It got to the early 80s by the time I got proficient, I think. And that's when I came back and started playing. And by that time as well, the thing had moved on, and I was really into British R&B.
Really?
So that's bands like at that time, Dr. Feelgood, 9 Below Zero.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know if there was at that time it was like a resurgence of that after the punk thing. So with the punk energy. But you'd got playing massive Dr. Feelgood fan, and so Lee Brillo, Wilco Johnson. I don't know if you know those guys.
I know the names, yeah. Blimey.
So there was a scene of that. So I was in a band then, and we were doing that sort of material.
Okay.
So
So comes a point where you start writing your own stuff. So when you pick up the guitar and you start learning the guitar, how proficient do you need to be before you can say, right, here's something I'm writing now?
Well, you can do it with 2 or 3 chords, really. You can do it. You can do it with 1 chord. So it's just a matter of wanting to express yourself, I think. Now, whether it be any good,
is another matter.
But again, that was the punk thing. It was have a go, have something to say.
Sure. And this confidence that you've talked about, did that help you play? Who did you play your first song to when you wrote your own first song, Paul? You see what I mean?
Yeah. Probably me mum and dad. Was probably singing. They used to tell me to shut up all the time. Used to have a great, because used to have a Marshall stack in the bedroom. I used to have my record. I mean, I'm primarily a fan.
Yeah.
I love. I can go on all day about all these bands and all the music. you know, and I loved my favourite band are the Beatles, probably, if I had to pick one.
Yeah.
But I loved the Who and all that stuff. So I was really absorbing. And then Dylan on the other side. So I like that's Neil Young, you know, that sort of more acoustic-y.
Sure.
So all that. So I'm up there learning to play all this stuff. And that, again, is where the Weller thing and all that, he was very into all that and influenced by all that stuff that had gone before.
Sure.
And I mean, you know, the Who were very influential on all the punk bands. Really, everybody used to play My Generation at that time. You know?
Right. Whoever they were, they would play that.
Yeah. So, part of that is the big thing is that if you're into, I mean, if I had to pick John Lennon probably for me and Bob Dylan, then it's about writing songs.
Have you seen the Bob Dylan new film?
I have, yeah.
Tell me what your take on it was. Was a big fan of Bob Dylan?
Yeah, I thought it was great. I mean, it's what it has been good personally is that I'm getting a lot of youngsters coming to gigs now that want to actually hear me, you know, because
really?
I do all that.
Do you? Yeah.
And there's not many people that can sit there with an acoustic guitar and the harmonica and actually play all that stuff.
Positively
together.
4th Street, I like that.
Yeah.
That's a tune, isn't it?
It is. Well, so much stuff. But I mean, lyrically, I mean, you know, the guy's a genius.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you saw it. There's a great interview with Bob Dylan not that long ago. And he says he doesn't know how he did it.
Really?
Yeah, he said it was just like unbelievable. When he looks back to him, even now, he looks back, it's unbelievable he could come up with all those songs.
Really?
And all that lyric, yeah. It just poured out of him, didn't it?
Wow, yeah. So the Beatles were right up there with you. Bob Dylan was right up there with you. Was your dream at this point to become as big as those?
My dream was, I mean, you know, I was going to work and, you know, going and doing all that type of thing at that stage.
Yeah.
Everybody dreams of being, you know, the rock and roll star. But I think that what I'd say looking back, you have to really commit to doing that. The ones, I do know people that have made it, but you have to really put yourself out there. And I think, you know, I'd got my mum and dad in my ear all telling me to be, what are you going to do for a real job and being sensible.
Right.
And, I wish I hadn't have been quite so sensible, I suppose. But then again, I know people that have gone down that path and they used to, you know, they used to wish they'd got the semi-detached house and you know.
Yeah, there's a lot of, you know, if you really go that way, there's a lot of people who go that way and don't get to
Exactly.
be right at the top.
I know loads and loads of really talented guys, and you know, you never heard of them. It's a bit like sport, or you know, getting to be elite, or to be a professional footballer, or you know.
Yeah, you know, I play squash, and the best player at our squash club probably can't compete in the national situation in a similar way to music. You know, you're great at this point, but can you get there? And there's also luck involved to get from there to there, isn't there? For some people, you know, it's not just down to how good
but
you
I
are.
do think that you know, I've had some brilliant nights over the years, and I also know that people at the top, a lot of them would. There's nothing like. I mean, for example, I did 8 New Year's Eves on the trot at the Tap and Spile.
Oh, did you? Yeah, I know.
And at that time, that pub used to be rammed and bounce, and it used to be fantastic nights. You know, you can't bottle that sort of thing, and that's as good as anything, really.
Yeah, because I've seen you play, and it's enthusiasm is coming over. You're enjoying yourself, aren't you?
Absolutely.
Whether there's 10,000 people there or 5. If you're having a good time, number one, and they're having a good time.
The thing is, if I wasn't there doing a gig, I'd be at home playing the guitar.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Know?
Yeah,
I mean, I play for myself.
Yeah,
really.
I've interviewed a lot of big musicians over the years, and the best of them, you get the feeling exactly what you just said. If they didn't get to where they got to, they'd still be doing it at whatever level they were doing it. They'd still be out there playing.
It's just for me. It's like, I don't know, religion. You just need to play. You know? And the other great thing about the guitar is you're never done.
Right, you can never keep learning.
Absolutely. And I mean, for example, with the Beatles, you know, and you think, I love this because it was only 7 years.
Right.
63 to 70.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was it. 7 years.
Yeah.
and all those albums. And the more you learn and get into the playing, the more you appreciate how good they were.
Right, okay.
You know, McCartney's bass lines and things, they're just the little bits. They didn't really put a foot wrong in all that time.
Yeah.
And George was only 26 when they finished.
And yet they evolved a lot during that time.
They did, and you imagine the pressures. I mean, for example, you'd got that where they were going off in the sort of later 60s. So you'd got Cream and all that, and whittling and diddling for hours on end. You know, that was a really trendy thing. They didn't really do that. George wouldn't really do that. He sort of thought, no, that's not the way to. And now, looking back, you know, you can hear Jimi Hendrix, a fantastic guitar player, but he would go on and on and on for hours on end, and a lot of times he's out his head a bit, and it's not great. You know, looking back, it wasn't great, all of it.
Yeah.
You know,
I do, yeah.
But they had that. They seemed to have that. As I say, they didn't really put a foot wrong. I don't.
No,
think.
and the creativity. You know, if you compare "Love Me Do" to some of the later stuff, it's chalk and cheese, and yet it's still them, their sound. But they evolved it as it went along and stayed relevant and so on.
They did every time. I mean, this is what I'm saying. And there's not pretty much covered most genres of music. Actually, is in there.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So they were amazing, very influential. But a lot. The thing is, they were being influenced by a lot of things. It was just a great time. I think the '60s. You know.
Let's go back to your stuff, because you've got a stack of CDs there.
I have,
Paul. That.
Well, it's time. So. I've done the R&B thing. That was really the 80s.
Yeah.
Got a band together. Got a really good band together, and that was the first CD that we did. And that's just sort of the beginning of the 90s.
Paul Gibbard, Get Ready for the Blues, it. So.
And that was a 4-piece band, and we played a lot. And the guitarist on that is a lad called Jeff Carline. So he played lead guitar. So it was a traditional sort of. I was rhythm guitar, slide guitar, harmonica singer.
These original tracks, then, all of them? Are they?
Not all of them. No, there's a few. Spider and the Fly is I still play that song, to be honest.
Do you?
Yeah, it's an old blues song, Rolling Stones song. Sure, the other foot, that's a guy called Albert Collins, who was a big blues favourite of ours. But yeah, Death Letter, that's an old Sun House track, which was
Death Letter. That sounds cheerful. That
well, he was actually the guy. Have you heard of Robert Johnson? Do you know Robert?
Not sure.
Okay, the original 2 blues people. Robert Johnson. This is the 1930s.
Wow.
Yeah, and he played a National Steel guitar, which I've got, which is the old, like on the front of the Dire Straits album.
Yes.
That's called a National Steel. So
is it?
Before they had amplifiers, they had like inside it, so the loud, and you play slide guitar a lot.
Oh, okay.
A national guitar.
Where would you record this?
That was done at the bass player, who was Jeff's brother, Russ Carline. He had a studio at that time, and he was doing. He made his living doing the soundtrack for Sky at that time. Sky was all new, and
Sky TV.
Sky TV,
right?
And what happened? That was an interesting story, because they would say, well, we need, we've got the horse racing, but they couldn't afford to use proper music, so we want something that sounds like this, and they had 3 or 4 people, and they'd get paid to come up with something they could use.
Okay.
And then the one they used got royalties every time. He did very well.
Oh, he did. That's great.
So that was his. So he got a studio.
Yes.
Doing that, and then he played bass with me, and that we recorded it in there. So we recorded that.
That is a good story. I love that. All right. So there's more of these than I thought that you were going to bring in. So you've done a lot of these over the years.
Yeah. So that is very much so out of that. So a lot of original stuff, but basically it was. Out the rhythm and blues thing, so in the Dr. Feelgood type frame. It's Rolling Stones. It's very much blues rock.
Sure.
And at that time we did. I mean, we did really well. We were playing. We did the Steel City Blues Festival in Sheffield, which was a big thing. I mean, headliner of that was Peter Green, who was in Fleetwood Mac. Yeah. I mean, I actually got to meet him, which was really nice. He was and that was at Sheffield City Hall. We played on the stage there, and.
Wow.
Yeah, we got quite a good. We played a few of the blues festivals at that time.
Yeah,
and it was going really well. But Jeff, the guitarist, and the thing is, in those sorts of bands, you need a real he was your real gunslinger type guitarist. You know, we supported Dr. Feelgood, we supported 9 Below Zero, and all that sort of thing. Yeah, and you know, but Jeff also played. He was also the guitarist with a guy called Chris Norman,
Right.
who was a singer in Smokey.
Okay.
You remember
I do,
Smokey?
yeah, living next door to Alice.
Yeah, well, he's the guy that with the Rod Stewart hairdo from the
Yeah, I know,
70s.
yeah.
And Chris's story is interesting. I mean, obviously for us, we all go, oh, yeah, Smokey. But what they did is they were able to get into East Germany, into Russia,
Right.
in the 70s.
Sure.
And they became and got a big following over there. And he's made a living all these years playing in Russia and Germany and things. And Jeff there's loads of videos of him playing in Germany, and in Germany he's a big star.
Wow.
And so he's made a living doing that, and Jeff was his sidekick. So the problem would be we'd get some really good gigs, but I'm at work, and it's like, you know, are you going to risk this, or do you get a paid gig of going? And, you know, and that's often a problem with bands. You know, the thing is, he's getting good pay.
Yeah.
You know, he's getting treated like a pop star, and
You've got to make a living.
Yeah.
And are you going to do it?
yeah,
What was your
gonna-
job at the time, Paul? What were you doing?
at that time, I was just started in petrol stations, so
Yeah.
I was a petrol station manager.
Yeah,
I mean, that'd be the other thing. You know, we got offered a few tours, but I couldn't just leave
The petrol.
running my business
Yeah,
to
of
go
course.
on tour. So it ended up being. But what happened from there was that Jeff would play with me. We'd do little pub gigs, and we became a duo, really.
Right.
And again, that's cheaper and easier. That's the other big thing with bands is
Falling out.
organising.
Falling out?
But just finding people that are happy to
Right.
all be together, all on the same page with it.
Yeah. And if there's a gig, you've all got to be available.
Yeah.
So there's admin as well, isn't there? You know, well, I'm going out that night, or I've got work that I've got to shift that night.
Girlfriends, wives get involved. It's to actually keep it all together is very difficult.
Sure.
You know.
So this was first album you
Yeah.
brought out by yourself. Come on, let's have some more.
Right. So Jeff and I have been doing, as I say, duoing a lot.
Yeah.
This is back to, I was also in a band in the 80s with a couple of guys called Keith Angel and Adrian Evans.
Okay.
And basically Keith, by this stage, he was a drummer percussion player, and he had a studio in Doncaster. And we all got together, all friends, and on that one, that's a Nothing But Blue album. So that's much more acoustic-y, and Keith played a lot of percussion. He was doing a lot of that type of thing.
Fool's Gold? Is that Stone Roses?
It's not. No, it's my song. That,
Is
but
it?
Yeah, yeah. But on that album as well, though, we've got John White playing bass. He played with. Well, at that stage, he was with Groove Armada.
Yeah.
Who was a
Was
mate
he?
of ours, yeah, and he's now with Faithless.
Wow.
And also on there is a guy
Got
called.
a lot of connections, Paul.
Well, he was just a mate from Doncaster.
Yeah, but all these stories
did that.
intertwine.
And on there as well as a guy called Dave Formula, who was in a band called Magazine as well. He's playing Hammond on that as well. These were all mates of Keith's as well, though, as well.
Right,
So
okay.
there's brass on that. There's all sorts of things. So that's quite a.
Where are
a
people going to
different
get to
album.
hear this stuff? Because people are going to want to discover the music of Paul Gibbard, right?
Yeah, well, the latest one is definitely, which we come to, that
We'll
one.
get to that, okay.
Yeah, that's on, you can just
Get that on Spotify,
and all
yeah.
that
Yeah.
sort of thing. Yeah, it's CDs really from the,
back
this
in
was
the-
really nice. I gave one to a guy that came in the garage once.
Right, did you? Did you?
As you do, I wasn't interested in the garage, I was interested in my music.
Yeah,
you know.
of course.
And this guy was an electrician, and we were talking about music, as you and I were talking that
Yeah.
night. I said, here, listen to that. And the guy came back to me he sent a message to about 15 or 20 years. I'd only met him as an electrician on that day.
Right, yeah.
And he said, can you please send me another copy of that CD, because I've worn it out. I absolutely love it.
Amazing.
Now, the thing is,
that's one of the best feelings you could have, I'm sure.
and that's the sort of thing that you think, and that's,
It's all worth it.
Well, I just, that's nice, isn't it? When it's done that,
Yeah.
it's
Absolutely.
original songs as well.
Absolutely. It made me think of The Office and David Brent. I know this is that's a comedy,
Yes.
blah, blah, blah. But
Not that far off.
he brings out his own CD, and the interviewer, the joke is that it's cost him £43,000 to
Yes.
put it together. But actually, I'm not saying that cost you that much money to put it together, but if it had, and you got that reaction from one bloke, it was all worth it. You know?
I mean,
the pride, isn't
you
it?
make it for yourself
Yeah.
as well, don't you? Again, and you know, I mean, the thing is, as I've said, that the reality is you have to really go out there and promote things,
Yeah.
and you have to really. And I mean, you hear people that write books or any of these things. You've got to put up with the rejection,
Yeah.
and really believe in it and push it and push it and push it. And even then, there's no guarantees or anything, is there?
No, of course
so
not.
the reality is, I've never done any of that.
Yeah.
So I've sold them at gigs or
Yeah, after the gig, here's my CD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hope you like it. You know?
Go on.
So at this stage, then Jeff's really busy with Smokey and all that stuff. So it ended up, I thought, well, the best thing I can do is do it on my own.
Right.
Which is where I've been ever since, or with a band. And so then we went and I did this one, which is called Today. So this is back to my love of the jam and all that sort of thing. So this is very acousticy, lots of different textures, Hammond organ on it, all sorts of things.
Oh, and this one's split between electric and acoustic.
Yeah, well, bear in mind, so there's a band. So what I did was I did a gig as a 3-piece band or on my own.
Oh, I see.
And
it's the same tracks. I just noticed
a lot
that.
of them, a lot of the same tracks. So you could see both things. I did some acoustic.
I like that.
But then we got John White, the guy. So he just left Groove Armada and not started with Faithless at that stage.
Okay.
So he was the bass player in the band. And then locally, there's a guy called Tim Plant who played drums. Who again, Tim is a Lincoln guy, a fantastic drummer.
Right.
So we just had a little 3-piece, and we went in and this studio in Ollerton, because I was running a garage near Ollerton, and the lad, and that was basically we did some covers. So I just did some.
Oh, influences. Yeah.
So
That's a similar cover, isn't it? That's easily...
So it was just a sort of twin with that.
Oh yeah,
one.
we've got the Kinks on here.
Yeah. So.
Oh yeah, right, okay.
And I'm playing there a Rickenbacker guitar.
All along the Watchtower, Jimi Hendrix, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, Bob Dylan, obviously.
But I remember Jimi Hendrix doing it, and I think U2 did a version.
Yeah,
of
they did,
of that as well.
Lots of people, yeah.
You got Hard You Love Away, so we're doing a Beatles tune here.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. It's on the 12th Street.
Do you think you stand up to the, because they?
I'm proud of that one.
Heroes.
That's all right. Yeah. I mean, this is the thing. The thing is I only do similar when I do gigs. At the end of the day, I do covers as well. I always do original songs, but I do covers as well.
Sure.
It's a Friday night in a pub. People want to hear
things
they know.
What they know.
But I just play stuff that I like.
Yeah,
and
sure.
So yeah, and then
this is the latest.
So then So what happened there is Andy, who recorded that, was at the studio.
Right.
We became mates. He really liked it. Stan had to go off, and his excuse was he were in Faithless and doing 2 world tours. So I thought, oh, go on then.
Pretty good excuse.
Tim, his hands struggled, the drummer.
Okay.
So Andy's a bass player who was, and so since then Andy's played bass with me. He has the studio, Superfly Studios at Ollerton.
Okay.
And he's in there all day recording, but we've been played ever since then, really. He gigs with me. And, what was great, he said to me one day, he said, me dad would love this. I said, your dad? Yeah. Bear in mind, Andy's 20 years younger than me. So,
right.
So, and his dad is Keith, who's a fantastic Hammond player.
Right, okay. Is it?
So in the studio, he's got a lovely Hammond with a Leslie cabinet. And Keith, he's been played that sort of fantastic piano key Hammond player. So when we get the best setup, we've got Hammond as well. So on that album, there's everything. We threw the kitchen sink at that. So you've got
this is
brass,
the latest one.
Yeah. All original songs.
And we can people can hear this on Spotify as well. Yeah.
Just put in Paul Gibbard, Shake It On Down, the album. Yeah.
Paul, as when we get to the end of our chat today, which song on here can I stick on for people to
probably Northern Girl, but please, I'd encourage people, please listen to it all, and then just get the feedback, because it's all original stuff, and we tried out. I think there's a lot of. I'd be interested in your opinion on what you think's radio friendly, really. Cause after all these years, I am at a stage now where I am going to try and really promote this.
Oh, good on you. Northern Girl, tell us specifically about the writing and recording of that song then. We will finish the podcast with a play of Northern Girl.
Well, it's written for a very special lady, the lady in my life, and...
the lady currently in your life?
Yes.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
that saves any And he upset, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've met her.
But you have.
Yeah.
But it's, I mean, the lyrics are pretty self-explanatory, I think, but it's a very much it's the tuning's in open G on the guitar. So it sounds, I think, quite Rolling Stonesy, country type feel, but lovely Hammond playing. There's also a guy who plays great guitar on that, a guy from Branston, Colin Moss. I don't know if you know Colin Moss.
I don't know Colin
Moss.
He's
another great Lincoln guitar player. There's a couple, there's Eddie Tatton as well. And so again, sometimes I've done gigs where I play with a guitarist like I used to do with Jeff, and a couple of really, really great, but yeah, he plays great guitar on it. So I'm playing acoustic. So there's Hammond, there's a Keith on Hammond on that, really nice.
Okay, people are going to check this out. Shake It On Down.
Yeah.
You can find Paul Gibbard on Spotify, and we're going to finish with that tune. Tell me about the future. You're I can tell for a fact you're not going to stop. So you're just going to keep going. Is there going to be another one of these soon?
Yes, I think, yeah, we've got, when we get round to doing, I've got a couple of things I want to do. I want to do a definitive sort of R&B album in the style of Dr. Feelgood and things.
Yeah.
I played with a couple of old mates, Keith Angel again, who I mentioned earlier, but we had a band together in the 80s.
Right.
And we're all getting a bit longer in the tooth now. So we played at Louth Blues Club a few weeks ago.
Okay.
It was just great fun to do. So we're going to do some of that because we all love that sort of music. And I've got some more songs to do in this sort of style. But I think this time it's going to be a bit more stripped down and just use Hammond. So that basically Hammond drums, bass and guitar and harmonica. Yeah.
And gig-wise, it's the Lincolnshire area. Is that where people will see you
I
performing?
think this goes out in a month. So
Yeah.
in August, that's what I thought I'd look at locally. You can see me at the let me think where I am. The Strugglers on the 3rd of August.
Yeah. Now that's a small pub. Can they fit an act in there?
Yeah, just me. That'll just be me. These are
Sure.
just me on as you saw at the week. Yeah.
Got a nice garden at the
Yeah,
Strugglers,
if it's a
actually.
nice day, it'll be in the
You could head
but
outdoors.
it's tea time on a Sunday, so 5 o'clock.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
Then I'm at Woodcocks on the 15th of August.
Plenty of space
in
there.
the garden there,
Yeah.
And then the week on the 29th of August.
Oh, they're having you back.
They're having me back, so I can't have done too bad.
Before we finish, because there's more to you than just musician. Badminton.
Badminton, that's
See,
right.
when I met you in that pub that night, I didn't think here's a bloke who will tell me a bit about badminton.
Yeah, I'm a badminton coach. Well,
Yeah.
the story is, again, as a youngster, I was into really, wanted to be Georgie Best, played football, played every sport, really. But I had a teacher when I was in the last year of junior school that was a badminton enthusiast.
Yeah.
And so I was able to play badminton. I got access to play badminton at school. 4 of us, they'd have a team every year and they'd pick 4 of the sporty kids.
Right.
And so I played intensive badminton for a year till I was 11. As I left there, I was quite a good badminton player. Got to play locally in Doncaster. I won the under-17s at 11 in Doncaster.
Oh, wow, did you?
And there was a guy there, a lovely guy called Brian Keefe, who played for Yorkshire at the time.
Right.
He picked me up as an 11-year-old and put me in the best team, men's team in Doncaster.
Wow.
As an 11-year-old.
Yeah.
And so my partner was a Yorkshire first team player at 11.
Christ.
Because Brian said if we don't get some kids playing this sport, this was the 1970s, bear in mind, yeah, you don't get some kids playing this, it's going to die out. Because they were saying it's the same face. I don't know if you see that at squash.
Yeah.
You get the same faces.
Dude. Bringing new blood in is difficult.
So, and Brian was legend. He'd played for Yorkshire first for 22 years, this guy. He was amazing. Anyway, so I played, and for that, my claim to fame was I won the doubles. I played for Yorkshire and won the All England under-16 doubles at that age.
Wow.
But again, as happens, you then get to be 17, 18, good at work, and can you be bothered trooping around playing band? But I played for Yorkshire, and I always played locally in Doncaster.
And where can people now experience
So when
your
I
coach?
finished with the garages and things, I became a badminton coach.
Right.
And since that was 2014, so I now coach at various schools, after school club, but mainly LSST.
Okay.
And then I do a club on a Saturday morning, which any under 18 can attend at LSST from 10 o'clock.
Is there a lot of interest in it these days?
Yeah, there is. Yeah, I've got 120 kids or something that I'm coaching locally.
Fantastic. Wow. Well, I've learned a lot today, and I've enjoyed it. Have you enjoyed it?
I have really enjoyed it. Yeah, thanks for asking me.
Right.
Yeah.
Paul Gibbard, and here's Northern Girl. Thank you, mate.
Thank you.
She lives in the wrong part of town. Never has enough money to go around. Got hair that's as dark as the night. And a body that is just built for delight. She's a sweet Northern girl. Yeah, sweet, sweet Northern girl. She tells me I worry too much, as she eases my troubles with her